Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more turkey patterning. And I think it's very clear that we're not quite in turkey season yet, but that doesn't mean we can't come out here and pattern something. It is a really cold morning out here. It's about 9:30 now and we're just hitting double digits. It's about 11 or 12 degrees right now, so it is cold. And for the test I've got out here today, it's a little bit of an update to an old test. I'm talking first video or two on the channel. I wanted to revisit it because I don't think we quite did it justice all the way back then, and we definitely didn't film it quite the way we do now, because I think it can be a pretty good setup. But as for the shell I've got out here today, I've brought out some of the Winchester Longbeard XR 3-inch 1 7/8 ounce of 6s, moving about 1,050 feet per second. Now, like I just said, it is cold out here. It's in the low teens, so these are lead shells, so there's a potential that they might not pattern quite as good as they would in warmer temperatures. So we should at least make a sticky note of that. If we see some kind of really weird performance, it might be due to the cold, but I still think we should be able to get a pretty decent test out of them here. And for the setup I've got out here today, I brought out the Remington 1187. However, I put this choke in the gun, and it's been a little while since we've seen it, but this is the Colonial Arms RCTK2, which is their extra full 675 constriction turkey choke. And it is on the budget side. I think this is a $35 to $40 choke, even though it is a little bit of an older choke, but it has shown some good performance for us so far. So I definitely think this combination deserves another revisit, considering how we film our videos now. I think we can get a pretty good performance out of this setup. So as for our test today, everything is the same as we usually do it. I have the turkey target set up downrange at 40 yards. I also have the chronograph, so we'll be able to get our speed. So let's get you guys set up with a view of this target. I don't know how the glare is going to be coming off of this snow, but we'll see what kind of camera angle we might be able to get. So I'll head up and take the shot. We'll look at our chrono speed and we'll go down range and see how they actually performed. So let's get set up with a view of this target and shoot them and see what we can get out of this Colonial extra full 675 and these Longbeard 6s today. All right, so let's look at our chronograph, which I don't think really helped us on this one. It read 806, but clearly that's not correct. These Longbeard 6 shells generally out of that 1187 are moving between 1100 and 1200 feet per second, even though the box is only claiming 1050. And I can tell you just by the way they felt, the way they sounded, and where they hit the target, we were right in that between 1100 and 1200 feet per second range again. So 806 on this one, not correct, but everything felt, sounded, and performed as usual. So probably 11 to 1200 range, somewhere in there. But how did it actually perform down on the target? Let's go down and take a look. All right, so now we're down here at our 40-yard paper, and this is what we got. I do think we might have been a touch to the right on this one, but we absolutely still have a dead turkey there. There's 5 or 6 in the brain and several more down the spine. So absolutely a dead bird, no question about it. And if our core would have been centered up, would have still absolutely been a dead bird. Now backing up and looking here, it's definitely not a terrible pattern overall. It is a little bit more on the open side, which could be that 675 constriction not being quite as tight as what these 6s like, and we have tested them through tighter chokes and they do seem to like being choked a little bit tighter than this 675, so that's a possibility, or could be a little bit due to the cold as well. We do see a few flyers down there around the bottom and a little bit sporadic over there on the left side, which it's not unusual to see a few flyers out of these Longbeard 6s, but I definitely think it has to do with the cold and being a 675 choke. Now for our core area here, there are a few gaps and voids in there. The main one I'm looking at is right off the tip of his nose right up there, but as for the rest, although it's not a super tightly constricted core, it's definitely not bad. It's more towards the little bit more open and giving you more leeway type of side here, which I'm not entirely surprised with being a 675 choke like that. So overall, not a terrible pattern whatsoever. We've obviously seen better, but it could have been a whole lot worse as well. Point being, it's absolutely a usable turkey pattern. Okay, and here's the wad out of that shell, and as you can see, it looks pretty decent. A little bit opened up unevenly, but nothing I'd be too concerned with. There's nothing stuck down in there as far as shot or anything like that. No rips, no tears, nothing funny looking over here on the sides, so overall looking pretty decent and about what I would expect as for average for a Longbeard wad. So definitely nothing too out of the ordinary on this one. All right, y'all. Well, what do you think about that performance there? Absolutely good enough to take a bird out to 40 yards. There's no doubt about it. Now, a little bit of that sporadicness or maybe a gap or void or two in that core area might be due to the weather being so cold or the choke being only a 675 instead of your more common 665 or 660 chokes. Both of which could have played in here today, but either way, it's absolutely a usable turkey pattern. There's no doubt about it. Is it the best or the tightest pattern we've gotten out of those Longbeard 6s? No, but I didn't really expect it to be either. But if that's the setup you had, you would absolutely be taking turkeys out to 40 yards. There's no doubt about it. So as usual, leave your thoughts about it in the comments and let me know, is that about what you expected to see? Were you hoping for a little bit better? Expecting a little bit worse? Whatever the case is, leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you just so happen to have one of these older Colonial Arms extra full chokes like this, how has it performed for you? Let me know that as well. But with that being said, I've got a bunch more testing to do for y'all out here today, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we do have the channel Instagram as well as a mailbox where you can send things to if you'd like. So all that information will be in the description if you're interested. But I'm going to get back to the testing, so I'll see y'all in the next one.